everyone and welcome back. Today I have an August wrap-up video for you, and while at the beginning of the month I had said that it would be a full wrap-up because I would have had booktubeathon to help spark my reading, of course you all know that I sort of failed at booktubeathon and only read 3 books. And then I started college the later half of August, so my reading is not as entirely impressive as I hoped it would be this month, but I still managed to read 6 books, so here we go. So the first 3 books that I read during booktubeathon are Jennifer L. Armentrout's White Hot Kiss, Stone Cold Touch, and Every Last Breath. Here's the cover of White Hot Kiss. You can kind of see it. It's sort of hard with this screen, but yeah. Here's what the first one looks like. Maybe I'll just insert some pictures of the covers. Since those are white covers, they show up weird, you know. But I felt a little bit conflicted about that series because the first book felt a lot like Twilight to me, and I'm not sure that I liked it enough on its own. I gave the first one 3 out of 5 stars, and then they got progressively better, and I liked the last one a lot because it wasn't her like making a love triangle decision anymore. The series was okay for me. It wasn't my favorite thing I've ever read. If you want to see a more detailed video of my thoughts on that series, you can click here, or there's a link down below as well. And then the final 3 books that I read for this month are all dealing with like mental health and physical health. And I chose these books on purpose because I know there's a Tuesday Talks coming up about how mental illness and mental health is being represented in books, and so I really wanted to like sort of build up my repertoire of mental health books that I had read. So these 3 I went into with that in mind. The first book I read was I Was Here by Gail Forman. And I went into this really excited because I love Gail Forman's books. If I Stay is one of my favorite books, and it like made me sob when I read it. And this one had a much different vibe than any of her other stuff that I've read. It was a lot darker, and it's technically a new adult book, so it was a little bit more scandalous, if you want to say that. Yeah, I had a lot of mixed feelings about this because I felt like the romance was really forced and I wasn't completely sold on it. If you don't know what it's about, I have a whole book talk on it, and it's kind of interesting how it focuses on mental health because it's focusing more on the aftermath of someone who has suffered mental illness and like their family and friends afterwards. So, and then the best friend that it focuses on sort of struggles with some of the same things. So this is an interesting read. But yeah, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars for reasons that I will talk about further in the video, which you can click here or see it down below. The next book that I read this month was Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella. Oh, this is another hard one to kind of see. But yeah, you've all seen this cover around. I'm just gonna drop it because I think it might hurt your eyes. And this book was definitely a more cutesy take on people suffering with some sort of like mental illness, and I wasn't sure. It was such a stark contrast to I Was Here that I wasn't sure how to feel about it because it was like jarring how much different the take was on it. I liked it. I thought it was funny, but I did not like how the romance sort of influenced her healing and her healing process. And I know a lot of people are reading this book right now and really enjoying it. It's kind of a hot topic to be a little controversial about it, but it wasn't my favorite book either. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars because it wasn't a bad book. It wasn't written poorly. It was written really well, and there were funny moments, but I still couldn't get past some of the ways that it represented mental illness. So if you'd like to see my full review, that is here now, and I do have a link down below. This is an interesting read just because so many people are talking about it right now. I think it's worth picking up. And then finally, I feel like these sort of went on a gradient of how like deep, dark, heavy the books were. I thought it couldn't get much darker than I Was Here, but I was wrong because I picked up Paperweight by Maggersann, and I'm not completely done with this yet, so I don't know how it ends, but I will probably finish it today because I'm sort of flipping through it really fast, and this is dark. It's interesting because the parts that I picked out separately about I Was Here and Finding Audrey sort of mix in this one because it has like the darkness and like the serious like heaviness, but it's also kind of funny. Like her humor is dark, but I got myself laughing a few times. And I sort of like this combination of the two better than just like being funny or being sad. I like that it's a mix. This is heavy. If you have any sort of trigger warning to like eating disorders or abuse, stay away from this. If you feel like you can handle that sort of story, then read it, because it's pretty detailed, at least so far. It's a dark read, but I'm glad I am sticking with it because I think the writing is really beautiful. So that's just a short little wrap up for you guys. If you've read any of these books this month, let's talk about it down in the comments because I want to hear your opinions. My opinion is not final, obviously, so if you disagree with me, let's chat about it. As always, thank you guys for stopping by my little book nook of the internet, and I will see you next time. Bye.